name's Loren Seagrave. I'm the Director of Track and Field and Cross Country at IMG Academy in Bradenton, Florida. I primarily work with athletes that want to be faster, and in the sport of track and field that means sprinters, hurdlers, and long jumpers. I've coached some of the top athletes in the world in all of these events, and we have a great stable of athletes that we're training for the World Championships this year in 2017. The training in a World Championship year such as this one, where we're preparing for London, is based on when the championship is and then the lead-up competitions to that. This is similar to preparing for an Olympic Games or a European Championships in that becomes the focal competition of the year, and all of the training is based around that. In 2019, the World Championships will be in Doha, Qatar, and they will be much later in the year. Rather than in August, they will be in late September. And so this requires a very subtle shifting of the program, especially when we realize that there's going to be indoor season as well as qualification for the various berths at the World Championships, at the individual athletes' national championships. In the long jump, the primary thing that you want to bring to the event is speed at takeoff. And so speed is a combination of power and neuromuscular coordination. So working in the weight room, doing reactive strength and plyometrics and boundings, as well as developing high levels of speed through making modifications in the motor pattern that the athlete runs so that movement efficiency is high. These two things combined allow the athlete to develop greater speed down the runway. Developing the technique of preparing to jump on the step before the board, which is called the penultimate step, and then having a very active and stable plant on the board makes sure that you get the right takeoff angle. Too high a takeoff angle, too much braking on the board, loss of speed, and consequently you don't fly as far. So the mix that the coach works with in terms of speed training, speed endurance qualities, technical training surrounding the long jump, which includes preparation for takeoff, the flying movements through the air and the landing, as well as general endurance training and strength and power training in the weight room, have to be combined in different ways, not only on a daily basis, but throughout the week. There are certain rules that you want to follow so that the athlete is ready and fresh with the nervous system. You should never do an general endurance training session prior to a speed or a technical session. But it's okay to do a strength session in the weight room and then come out and do a general endurance session. As we get closer to competitive phase, we may combine speed and technique using the full approach runs and takeoffs. Currently in the situation that I am at IMG Academy in Bradenton, Florida, we are 8 kilometers from the Gulf of Mexico. And so altitude training really has not been part of our program, largely because we don't have a venue suitable. If we were to spend more time here in Rieti, where just a few kilometers away, you can go up to 1,600 meters, this might be a better consideration. We don't go up there because there's lack of oxygen like a distance runner that will promote better development of their aerobic system, but rather the sprinter, the hurdler, and the long jumper goes up there because the number of air molecules that they have to push apart is less, and so the resistance of the air is less, and consequently you can generate a greater speed. Also, because the higher up you go in altitude, you actually have less gravity. So although your body mass is the same, you weigh less. And these two factors allow you to put a big force into the ground in a much shorter time, and then your nervous system adapts to the stimulus, and you're able to take these qualities back down to sea level and perform at a higher intensity. There are many things that are above and beyond the training venue. An elite athlete trains 3 or 4 hours a day, either in the weight room, on the track, doing technical exercises, and reviewing film. That means they have 20 hours in which they can undo everything that's been done in training. And so the key point is you want to set everything up in your lifestyle to allow your body to regenerate, bounce back, recover, and be ready for the next training session the next day. We use technology to allow the body to recover. Various modalities. We have special nutrition that the athlete takes. We make sure that the athlete gets a nap in the afternoon so that their body produces more recovery chemicals. We make sure the body is sleeping at the same time every night, getting up at the same time every day, so that the clock is set and everything is produced. And obviously, nutrition is a big part of recovery also. Physiotherapy and the physiotherapist must be integrated into the entire training program from day one. We have a series of tests and diagnostics that we do that point out athletes' joint restrictions, instabilities, and other situations that could cause injury when performing at a high level. Once these things are diagnosed, it's the job of the orthopedic surgeon and doctor and physiotherapist to work with the coach and develop a prehab program, prehabilitation, which means work on all of the things that could cause a potential injury to correct them through corrective exercise, massage, various modalities, and manipulation. And in this way, the athlete has a better chance to stay healthy. Also, regular care from a physiotherapist, a massage therapist, post-training allows the athlete better to bounce back such that they're ready for the next training session. When we look at physiotherapists and other support individuals, we look for people that are positive in their approach and take the same tack that we do, in that we try to build belief in the athletes that they can do it. We want to be lifting them up all the time. We don't want to necessarily be talking about the negative. The other thing that the physiotherapist has to understand, over and above the principles of physiotherapy, is the biomechanics of the event and how the stressors of the event, if under bad biomechanics, can lead to potential injury. We're looking at preventing injury and recovering from training much more so than allowing the athlete to become injured such then that they need rehabilitation. There are many things that the coach must take into consideration when setting up a training camp, especially a pre-preparation camp for a world championships, like is the case this year. We've known many times, because I've been to Rieti for competitions and other camps, that the facilities at the track in the weight room are excellent. The accommodations at Quattro Stagioni are fantastic. The food possibilities are tremendous here, with very good cuisine, that the athlete has many choices that can fit in their diets and dietary restrictions. The climate is excellent. There's a possibility to go to altitude to work if we need. But interestingly, the most important thing that determined that we would come to Rieti is because of the physiotherapist that we work with and his use of the WINTECARE system. He's a former athlete, a former sprinter. He's a hands-on guy, very positive, working well with the coaching staff, but has a very good feel for this particular modality and understands how the body works. And so all of those factors before were important, but the single biggest factor that finds us in Rieti is that we're working with a physiotherapist that is extremely good at what he does.